Welcome to Battle Streams in Middle-earth, and this is the Fantasy Fellowship of the Ring.
One ring to rule them all, one ring to fight them, one ring to break them all, and let the darkness bind them.
The year is 2979 of the Third Age. It has been nearly 40 years since Bilbo returned to the Shire with the ring, and whilst he may have thought that his adventuring days were done, a new shadow has risen in the east, and the fate of the world is once more in the hands of the unlikeliest creature imaginable.
So, yes, indeed, welcome to Battle Streams in Middle-earth. I am, as ever, your channel host, Damian, and I'm joined at the start of this magnificent adventure by...
Thomas Macklin.
Thomas Macklin, as I live and breathe.
Thank you.
You've been on this channel before.
I have indeed, yes.
You may recognise Tom from the...
Taming of Smeagol.
That's the one. We did a little bat rap that went down very well, so thanks all for your comments.
Yes,
so,
indeed.
And that was a taster of what is about to come. If this is your first time here, please hit that subscribe button so you get notified of all the videos, and hopefully there's going to be quite a few of those coming from us.
Indeed.
So yes, this is the start. We've been talking about our Fantasy Fellowship campaign on the channel for a few weeks now.
Yeah.
Essentially, we've been building up to it. I've been so excited, and this is officially the first video of it.
Yeah.
This is the prologue. It's not chapter 1.
No.
This is the prologue concerning fellowships. See if you can work out what we've done there. So yeah, welcome, Tom. How you doing?
You. Yeah, very well. Very well. I'm excited. Very excited. Very ridiculously excited.
Ridiculously excited. We're excited.
Yeah.
This all comes out of this book. I don't know if you've heard about it. There's a
Just a little rumour going around.
There's a video on this channel where I talk about it quite a lot. But this is the brand new Crest of the Ringbearer book, which I think it's fair to say has received, not unanimous, because not everyone likes everything.
You can't please everyone every time.
Near unanimous wonder and approval. It's absolutely beautiful. I've said in my review at length, I think it's the greatest. It's definitely the best supplement of this edition.
100%. 100%. It's. I mean, I like match play because I've been to tons and tons of tournaments, but scenario play is just what this game is all about. 100%.
Absolutely. Like getting back to those classic narratives is great. But the narrative scenarios are brilliant, and playing out the events of the film is brilliant. Yeah. But the thing that has really started off by catching my attention was at the back we have the Fantasy Fellowship section. I talked about how much I like this in my review video, but Tom, do you want to talk about it? How do you find this to begin with?
I mean, it's interesting. I'd be honest, I've heard of the concept because I've seen how a few people did it. I'm sure Steve King and David Whittaker did it at Seven Stones, didn't they? It was brilliant fun. So I knew of the concept, but to see it printed on the page, and for my first time, I know apparently it's been. It was in an old popular White Dwarf, wasn't it? Yeah.
And in Battle Games Middle-earth.
Both. I obviously probably had the White Dwarf and the Battle Games Middle-earth. I've got all issues, but obviously completely forgot about it. So when I stumbled upon this, it was amazing. Just the amount of combinations you can do, and it's brilliant.
It's hard to say exactly quite why this captured my imagination, but everything about Battle Streams Middle-earth, the channel, has been about embracing older models and trying to clear your backlog. And for whatever reason, something about this resonated with me. I'd had no interest in Fantasy Fellowship before this. I'd never done it. As I said, I saw David and Steve's one, which I thought was brilliant, and that was a lot of fun at the Seven Stones. Where they let the community choose their fellowship, and that was really cool.
Definitely.
But yeah, I'd certainly never kind of tried it myself. And yeah, something about this just captured my attention. And on the night I got this, I remember it arrived a day early, and on the Friday night, I wrote a fantasy fellowship. It's like, I hadn't read most of the scenarios, but I read that section and I wrote it, and it is the fantasy fellowship we're going to be following. And I don't think it was quite finished on that night.
No.
But I had an idea of what I wanted to do with my fantasy fellowship, and I think loads of people are writing them. There's some great stuff going on. There's a blog being done by the guys that where people are doing it, but I haven't. Lots of people are writing them, but I haven't seen too much content of people
me neither.
Doing it, because of course the whole point is it's an incredibly long and exhaustive process to kind of follow the campaign.
Which is why I'm glad you did it and not me.
Yeah, well, indeed. And so what I kind of suddenly got inexplicably optimistic about the amount of time we had, and decided that we should do a campaign and try it. And I contacted my dear friend Mr. Macklin, and you said,
I said yes.
Yeah, God, yes.
He said yes.
He said yes. Reader, I married him. So we, and that was I think it was about 4 weeks ago now. It wasn't long ago. You probably say actually at the time of recording, we're about the 16th or 17th of October. So that's when we're doing this bit essentially. And so about it wouldn't have been long. It might have been the weekend this came out that we started talking about it. It was about 4 weeks ago. Yeah. And I suggested to Tom, because we live quite close to each other, very good friends, go back in the hobby a long way. And Tom, he's a friend of the family as well, gets on very well with Charlotte and Emma. And I was like, do you fancy trying this?
I was like, yes.
Yeah, so we came up with the idea of what if we tried to play out the whole campaign.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to give it a go. So, so much to talk about, but the first caveat is we're planning on doing it all.
Yeah. And all of it.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Go big or go home.
We are going from scenario 1 in this to scenario 28 in this, but also we're including more.
Yeah.
I've got a list of the scenarios, and you may well know that if you've looked through the Fantasy Fellowship section, it's got a list of the scenarios, and there are 23. So there's 23 scenarios in here, but they omit a lot of them. So for example, the Shire section is Buckleberry Ferry, House of Tom Bombadil, Fog on the Barrow Downs, and Weathertop. That's the first 4. Yeah. So you miss about 3 from this book straight away, and it's not to say we won't miss any. But we've gone through this book and Gondor at War and War in Rohan and made an exhaustive list of every scenario that features a member of the Fellowship of the Ring. Now, we should also caveat that we probably won't do them all, because there are things like where we get Helm's Deep, and Helm's Deep in War in Rohan is 8 scenarios.
Yeah.
And our plan is to do these about once a month. Yeah. So that's 8 months at Helm's Deep, which seems a bit. No, we don't.
A little bit OTT.
Maybe a bit much. So we don't know. We don't have an answer for that. But that 8 scenarios might become 1. We might do a mega battle.
Well, mega battle. Or we can do 4. Yeah. Just sort of condense it.
Maybe some of those key moments like attack on the walls.
Yeah.
The ride out.
Yeah.
And Gandalf arriving. But we don't know. We don't know the answer. But there's a difference there between doing 1 scenario and 8.
Yes.
Which makes a huge difference. It's another 8 months of campaign. And the same obviously applies to the ministerial.
Well, maybe we could put it out to the viewers. Would they want to see?
Put it out to them, please. Please. They'll say 8. Of course, they'll say 8. Okay. If this was live, thankfully this isn't a live.
You can comment, but we won't. We won't.
People
answer.
would literally be writing 8 at the moment in the comments. But and then there's even an Amon Hen at the end. Yeah. There's a battle of Amon Hen, or there's
4 scenarios. 3
scenarios to make it up. So things like that. So we honestly don't know, but I think we worked out it was somewhere between, I want to say, 31 and 48.
Yeah. 48 was definitely
the high.
Yeah, it was the high.
So if we do them all, so somewhere between 31 and 48, and we also think there's some that we might omit.
Yeah.
Because the Fellowship don't too much in them. So, what are the ones we think of?
Definitely not. Was it Ambush at Ithilien?
Yeah. Ambush in Ithilien. Frodo and Sam don't play any part in the objectives or anything. They're just kind of bystanders, so we probably wouldn't do that. We want to do ones where the Fellowship members are front and centre.
Yeah, exactly.
But we, as I say, we don't have a clue about that. This is the truth. We don't know the answer to that as of yet. But yeah, that's the optimistic plan as we sit here.
Well, 48 scenarios is 4 whole years of content, so I'm sure the community would love that.
If there's no delays.
If there's no delays, that's true.
And there will always be delays.
Yeah.
Of course there'll be delays.
Well, so it might turn into 6 or 7 years.
Maybe. Yeah. But we, as I said, realistically, because of what we're planning with them, I think they'll be about once a month.
Yeah.
So that means that we are genuinely planning on doing this for the next 3 years. Now, I will caveat this as ever. Maybe we won't. Who knows?
Yeah.
Any number of things could happen that could stop us.
As it stands from this day, that is the plan.
Yeah.
And it's not going to change in our minds unless something drastic happens.
Maccas is going to keep us in check.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make sure it happens.
Crack the whip.
Absolutely. So that's kind of our basic plan, basically, to run you through the campaign.
Yeah.
Following our own fantasy fellowship, and hopefully you'll all get behind them and cheer them on. And we will also be using the full campaign rules.
Yeah.
Which I don't think I've ever done. The closest thing I've done to this is on the GBHL. We did a Fellowship of the Ring campaign.
Yeah.
Now Jamie led that. Jamie did all the hard work on that, and in that their stats carried over.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to monitor their stats and recovery. But I don't think there were the campaign bonuses.
No.
I don't think
I don't think there was, no.
As far as I remember, it was like 2014, I think. But as far, you can go watch it. It's a great
It
campaign.
is. I really enjoyed it.
The Fellowship one's about 18 videos, I think.
Yeah.
And that was really cool fun to be a part of. I must have played in about half of those, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't think in all the new supplements you get the kind of, if you win this or lose this, you get this bonus. I don't think there was anything like that.
No.
We are doing that. We're going to be using the full bonuses from this. If we get to the 2 towers, we'll go and look at War in Rohan and God at War. So there will be consequences to the results of the game, which I think is quite cool. And we will also be using the section at the back of Fantasy Bonus. We obviously be using all the campaign bonuses, which is really cool. The things they pick up. But we'll also be using the section that deals with the kind of surviving the journey, recovering strength, and all that. The bravest companion, the fall of the Took, and all those things. We will be doing all of those bits throughout, which is going to be really super exciting.
As well,
so, as I said, I wrote my Fantasy Fellowship and then invited Tom to try and stop me.
Yes.
So Tom's going to be the forces of evil.
I am indeed.
How do you feel?
It's unnatural. It's unfamiliar territory playing evil, because a lot of people that know me would know that I very rarely take evil armies to tournaments. So, but I'm looking forward to it. It'd be nice to do role reversal and try and be the bad guy for once.
Yeah, and what a selection of bad guys.
Indeed.
We got Ringwraiths, the Balrog.
I know.
Scouts. That's our first.
Yeah.
I think.
So I can't wait. I think
it's incredibly front heavy. I think there's about 18 Fellowship of the Ring scenarios or something. I think Fellowship of the Ring is 2/3 of the campaign almost, because there's so many in there. But yeah, lots of cool stuff to come. And yeah, I'll be taking my Fellowship and trying to basically trying to get to Mount Doom.
Yeah.
And try and save the world, essentially. It's going to be good fun. So, to the Fellowship themselves. The idea of this video, of course, is we haven't got a game in this video. It's the prologue. Chapter 1 will be along soon. It'll be along sooner than normal, hopefully. Yes. But at this stage, I don't know, nothing's edited, so we'll have to wait and see. But Chapter 1 should be along soon. Okay, so we thought we'd kick things off by having a chat about the Fantasy Fellowship.
Indeed.
And who they were going to be. I went proper down the rabbit hole with this.
Yeah.
As anyone who knows me probably won't be surprised to know, I got my Tolkien nerddom out. I didn't want to just.
It really has. He really has. He really has.
And at this stage, you don't know.
I don't know the outfit, and I literally don't. It's not for the camera. I have no idea. I'm as much in the dark as you guys are.
Yeah, we thought it would be cool for Tom's going to take his prediction as well. We thought it would be cool for him to discover the characters sort of as you do. So, I wanted to do an alternative quest, and I wanted it to fit in with the world. Yeah. So the idea is, first huge spoiler: the ring bearer is Bilbo Baggins, and he's young Bilbo Baggins. And so what I wanted to do, I'm a huge fan of The Hobbit as a book, and I like the Hobbit movies, and I wanted to have the idea that basically young Bilbo goes off on the quest to destroy the ring, earlier.
Yeah.
Earlier than Frodo does, essentially. So everything just happens a bit quicker.
Yeah.
Sauron's malice awakens.
Yeah.
So I knew that obviously he has to go. I then started looking at the timeline, and he has to go before 3001, because that's his birthday party.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So obviously it has to be set before then.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, I started adding in other people that I wanted and looking at the timeline. So he comes back from his journey to Erebor in 2942. So we had about 60 years to set the quest in.
Yeah.
And I've settled on 2979. Okay?
Yeah.
2900. Yeah,
79.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
2979 of the Third Age is when our quest will take place. So again, that is it's 20 years before his party.
Yeah.
So Bilbo is 90.
90.
About that, but he's still young. Bilbo.
He's still young. Yeah, definitely.
He's restored by the power of the ring.
Exactly.
To keep him young. Essentially.
Exactly.
You'll all remember that Gandalf, of course, on the doorstep in Fellowship of the Ring says, "You haven't aged a day."
Exactly.
So there you go. He's young Bilbo at age 90, very sprightly,
Yeah.
still going off on his adventures, and I'm a huge fan of that character. Small tribute to Ian Holm.
Yeah.
He sadly passed this year, but I was really, really excited to get Bilbo out and use a different ring bearer.
Yeah.
Gollum didn't really appeal, and young Bilbo I feel is cooler than old Bilbo.
Definitely.
So young Bilbo is my ring bearer. So we thought we'd take a cheeky look at his profile. We've got it here. He's going to be fight 3, strength 2, defense 3, 1 attack, 2 wounds, and courage 6. And I haven't bought him Sting because he gets it later at Rivendell, presumably from himself. Who knows?
We'll say everyone gives it to him.
Why not?
Yeah.
His heroic actions are heroic resolve, heroic strike, which could be really handy,
Yeah.
and heroic defense, which again is handy. He's
Certainly is.
armed with a dagger. He has options for the pony, which he won't take, Sting, which he'll get, and the One Ring, which he obviously has.
Yes.
And his special rules, he gets resistant to magic, throw stones, and it has not yet awoken. And his not yet awoken rule is the rule that means he's not affected by the negative elements of the ring.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
guess what? It's only bloomin' awoken.
I know.
So at this point in our timeline, of course, the ring has to be destroyed. So it's very much awoken. So we're ignoring that rule.
Yeah.
So Bilbo will be subject to exactly the same rules of the ring as Frodo normally is, essentially, which seems fitting.
Definitely.
It is 40 years after his quest.
Yeah.
And the power of the ring has increased.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool. So I think that's a really good example, a first example of what we're doing in the campaign. That we're willing to change the rules of characters to better suit our narrative and hopefully change the course of events of Middle-earth to fit the narrative.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's Bilbo. He's got 2 might, 3 will, 3 fate, and 2 wounds. So pretty good.
Yeah.
He's
on par with Frodo.
Yeah, I was just going to say, is he better than Frodo? Things that we should have checked out.
I think no. Frodo has
quite
2.
similar, isn't
Frodo
it?
has 3 might.
In this
3.
version, does he?
Yeah. Fellowship Frodo has 3 might. So a little bit. He's 1 down on the might, but the wills. I think he has more will.
Yeah. They're similar, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're certainly similar. So he'll be our ring bearer. And then, so with that decided, he was going to be young Bilbo. Obviously, the rest of the Fellowship has to be filled out with people who were alive and capable of going on the quest in 2979.
Indeed.
So, Fili and Kili aren't in it; they're dead.
They're dead. Thorin's dead.
Yeah, Faramir isn't in it.
No.
He's not born.
No.
Yeah. So this sort of thing. I've looked at timelines as much as possible and birthdays and stuff, and found the point that a teenage, I don't know, if let's say Éomer's 12, he ain't going on the quest.
No, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the fact I just said let's say Éomer's 12 probably tells you Éomer's not in the. So everything should fit the narrative, which kind of matters to me.
Yeah.
With that in mind, the first thing I had to do was pick a companion for him, and we'll reveal at this point. And just in case you think this is huge spoilers, we're not telling you the whole Fellowship.
No.
Don't you worry. And his companion,
Which I'm very sad about.
I was looking at the campaign, and you've obviously got in here the companion. It can be any Hobbit hero that has not already been chosen as a ring bearer, with the exception of the Travellers. If Bilbo Baggins from the Thorin's Company list is chosen, then his companion may instead be another member of Thorin's Company under 60 points.
Yes.
anyone who knows me will know I adore Thorin's Company.
Yes.
So as soon as I saw that, I was like, I'm all over this. And it was down to 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I was quite tempted by Bofa.
Oh,
because of the way
of course,
he's
they interact in the
yeah.
film. Definitely.
And I like Bofa's models and stuff, and I've got them painted up. But in the end, bit of an obvious choice.
Yes.
It's got to be Balin.
Balin, old Longbeard.
Old Longbeard. They have a great relationship in the book and the film.
Yeah.
And of course, he comes back to Bag End to visit him.
He does.
About 10 years after the quest, I believe. So that's really cool. So Balin the dwarf will be
Balin
my
the dwarf is
companion.
your companion.
He also helped the timeline because he leads the expedition to Moria in 2989.
He does indeed.
So the quest had to be before that.
Yeah.
So you get that sort of thing kind of playing in it. So Balin's alive at this point. Do you want to do the
Yeah, of
Balin's
course.
profile?
So Balin, standard movement for a dwarf is 5 inches. He's 5'4", which is handy as well, especially in some of the scenarios. He's strength 3, defense 5, 1 attack, 2 wounds, and courage 6. Excuse me. He has his heroic actions are heroic resolve and heroic defense. It's actually a pretty good one, considering he's not the most toughest dwarf in the company. His war gear is armour and sword mace, and his special rules are Longbeard, and he can take the option for a pony, but obviously he will not.
So Longbeard, of course.
Longbeard is the priority thing, isn't it?
Yeah, you can spend a point of will to re-roll priority.
Yeah.
That's a really handy rule.
Yeah.
Particularly in those early scenarios where there might be less might knocking about.
Exactly.
It's kind of handy to get those the advantage on there. So that'll be really cool. That'll be really good fun. I think he's better than Sam. I think as a profile probably. But to make him even better, we're up for making them better. We're going to give Balin Sam's. Was it? I'll have you, Longshanks.
What was it?
Whatever it is.
Yeah,
his heroic combat rule.
Yeah.
Leave him alone, or I'll have you, Longshanks, whatever it is. So Sam protects Frodo by he's got his free rule there. Frodo's in combat within 6 inches. He can call free heroic combat. We're going to give Balin the same rule for Bilbo because I think it feels fitting that the companion protects the ring bearer.
Yeah, definitely.
And again, I think it feels quite fitting between Balin and Bilbo.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
You actually also see Tom nodding and saying, "Yes, I agree," when I'm hurting his chances, which I think says an awful lot about what we're. I
said I want to be evil and want to and disrupt, but deep down it's I've got the soft spot for the good side. So.
There's an outside chance we're kind of both on the side of the fellowship, right? I think we want to.
No. It's all about optimism. I'm going to optimise every movement, every dice roll.
Yeah.
No matter how brutal it seems, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try and stop the fellowship getting to Mordor.
That's kind of the fun of it, that we'll be trying to stop them, but equally, I think in our hearts wanting the fellowship to kind of keep going. So Balin was definitely that was really easy for me. I remember 4 weeks ago scribbling like Bilbo and then Balin. That was never an easy decision. Yeah. After that, it all became a bit tricky. Mm-hmm. I actually knew, and I'm not going to say these ones. I'm going to say I knew 3 other members. Mm. So there's obviously 7 members, and I knew who 3 of them were going to be straight away. So they went down in. I didn't know what slots they were going to be necessarily. Like I didn't know if they were Aragorn or if they were Legolas or whatever. Yeah. But I knew I've got to have those 3 in it. So that was quite easy. No, it's 4. It's 4.
Oh.
Yeah, it was 4 that I actually wanted, and then what I was left with was 3 slots. Yeah. And the points to make them work. Yeah. Essentially. So one of the trickiest decision for me possibly was Merry and Pippin. The Merry and Pippin slots. I debated Feely and Keely briefly before realising at the timeline they were dead, so they couldn't come in. And then I'm almost tempted not to say this in case people you should have done that, and it's far too late. I was tempted to have Ori and Oin as
it makes sense.
Yeah, the companions of Balin.
Yeah, exactly.
They're both cheap enough because the Merry and Pippin have to be under 50, I believe it is.
Yeah, and they're both
under 50 points. Yeah. And it would be nice for the 3 of them to go on a quest, which potentially led to the quest of Moria. So I did like that. I'm a huge fan of Oin. I've often said I think the plastic Oin models are some of the best in the range. Yeah. But ultimately, there was something about me that said we needed hobbits. Yeah. We needed more hobbits.
It starts in the Shire, doesn't it? So it's...
Yeah. And it would have been cool, but I was like, no, do you know what? In my heart of hearts, I think we need at least one more hobbit in it. Yeah. And so you start then going through, and thankfully we now have the fantastic Scaran and Shire supplement with loads more hobbit heroes. And I was checking the timelines again. So you need someone who, in the Lord of the Rings, is quite old, because they would then be young enough. And when it hit me, it was like yes, and I'm going for handfast Gaffer Gamgee.
Gaffer Gamgee.
Who obviously in the very early chapters of the Lord of the Rings, you can see him defending Bilbo.
Yep.
He sort of he says that he's done Sam a kindness and learned him his letters.
Yes.
And that sort of thing. He's clearly a friend of Bilbo. And at the time, in 2979, Gaffer is 54. Which I think is certainly at the age where you could go on adventures.
Yeah, it's kind of just over middle age for a hobbit, I'd say.
Also, the Gaffer Gamgee model is absolutely kick-ass.
Stunning. You've done a really good paint job on it.
Oh, thank you, that's very kind of you. So yeah, as soon as that happened, and there was something else that kind of tied in with Gaffer being there as a Gamgee, like Gamgee.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So he became my Pippin.
Yeah.
He's taken up the Pippin slot. So yeah, we have Gaffer Gamgee, who is fight 2, strength 2, defense 3, attacks 1, wounds 2, courage 5, which is great.
Yeah, good old hobbits.
He's got no heroic actions.
No.
But he's resistant to magic and throws stones like all hobbits. And he has leave my flowers alone, which is the rule where you put out those fantastic little flower pot markers. But you don't go traipsing off to Mount Doom
with flowers in your
with a
pocket.
Mary Poppins bag of flower pots. So we decided that he's not defending his home. He's on a journey, so he's not going to have his flower pots with him. He's not going to have his flower pots rule.
No.
It just seems to make some sort of sense. And his war gear is a spade, which is fantastic, and that counts as a staff.
Maybe he can dig his own grave.
Way. I hope not.
No.
Or Gaffer. I've also painted him with grey hair.
Yeah.
Entirely inadvertently, so he's like, 54. I think he could have grey
Yeah,
hair.
definitely.
He's got 1 might, 1 will, 1 fate, and 2 wounds.
Yeah.
So he's definitely better than like Merry and Pippin.
Yeah.
But then he's a lot more points.
Yeah.
I think he's 30 points or 35 points, something like that. So those are my Frodo, my Sam, and my Pippin.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all you're getting. So those are the 3 that are going to they're going to leave the Shire.
Yeah.
And head off on the road for adventure, and then the others, including the mysteriously missing Merry slot, potentially, will join us along the way. So I'm mega excited about it. I find it absolutely hysterical that if we do everything on time, I think we're in October, and I think you'll learn who the full fellowship are like next June.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy to think that perhaps some of you in the future years will kind of watch this back.
Yeah. And you say not just you, definitely me as well.
Yeah.
I tell you, I've got to wait till.
Yeah.
Well, I've got to wait till film a little bit earlier, but still far too long.
Yeah. So what I thought would be fun to do was ask Tom.
Yes.
To make his predictions. And I'm going to link this in with a competition. We're going to talk about this scenery a bit later, but a lot of what you see here comes from the wonderfully talented hands of Mr. Andrew Pennington.
Yep.
And if you've watched any of the streams you've heard us talking about before, he's a wonderful, lovely hobbyist who makes trees and he makes tufts, and they're fantastic. Yep. And really, really good value and really good quality. And Andrew has really kindly sent us a bunch of tufts and some kind of scatter material for you, for one of the Battle Streams of Middle-earth viewers, just as a prize, which is super cool. So first off, thank you to Andrew, which is lovely. And we were thinking like when we were going to do it, when are we going to give it away, and we thought there couldn't be a better time than kicking off the campaign that's going to feature tons of his stuff in it.
Yes.
So the way you enter is in the comments below. You just need to write me a fellowship. Write who you like. Make your predictions, so you know Bilbo, Balin, and Gaffer predict the rest of my fellowship. And anyone who we've said that if my perfect fellowship came to 755, we'd allow it.
Yeah.
Or 760. So say you can have 740 to 760 to give you a bit of leeway, so it doesn't feel like homework. You've got about 20-point leeway. And then, below, write your predicted fellowship. And everyone who enters, even if it ends up being 770, if you write a fellowship that you think I'm going to take, you'll be put into a draw, and we'll pick a winner.
Yeah.
And it won't be, so it's not who gets it the most right or anything, because otherwise we won't announce a winner till June. But we'll we'll wait for a few videos. I mean, once this gets published, we might wait for a couple of streams, a couple of battle streams or something, and then at some point we'll probably do the draw on one of the battle streams.
That makes sense.
So yeah, that's all you have to do. You have to write in a comment below the 9 fellowship members you think are going on this journey with us, and we'll see how right you are. And we're going to kick it off with Tom Macklin.
My predictions.
Yeah. So you know Frodo, Sam, and Pippin.
Yeah.
Over to you.
Okay. So, just a caveat here, I've been neurosing about this quite a lot, so I haven't gone into much depth as Damian, obviously, because he wrote the Fellowship. But if I get it almost spot on, I promise you he hasn't told me who they are.
He doesn't know.
100% don't know who they are, so don't say it's a fix if I manage to get at least 8 out of 9 right. But in my head, I think I'm right. So, obviously, we mentioned earlier, which Damian didn't realise, subliminally telling me it's not Oin, Ori, or Bofa as Merry.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to guess, because you've gone with Gaffer, Shire themed, and he's going to be part of the first scenario, I'm going to guess Farmer Maggot. I'm going to guess Farmer Maggot. Yeah. I know it's a bit weird having him as the first scenario, but yeah.
I mean, it's the first scenario in the book.
It is.
You got to play it.
Yeah, you got to play it, exactly. So that's my Merry prediction. Who should we go to next? The Wizard. The Wizard.
No, let's do it in the order they join.
Yeah. So it'd be the Aragorn. See, because you've gone down the sort of Hobbit-y theme, and I know how you think. I think I know how you think anyway. So you'd keep the roles. I presume you'd keep the roles sort of as race specific as possible. So you replace a man with a man, and where possible, where applicable, and where possible. So I'm going to go with Bard, because he is also a king of men.
Indeed.
He becomes a king of men after the events of The Hobbit.
Cool.
So he would replace Aragorn.
Good choice. I like Bard.
Yeah.
He's
a strong character as well. Yeah, I think he can hold up the Aragorn role pretty well.
Yeah.
Then Legolas, I mean, this is a given, ladies and gentlemen. If it's not, and he's thrown a complete wide ball, and Legolas is Tariel. It's 100%. Like, who is she?
Tariel?
Yeah.
What makes you think I like Tariel?
I have no idea.
What are you talking about?
That one. Right, I bet. So Gimli.
So Legolas is Tariel.
Is Tariel, yeah.
Okay.
So you've gone elf with elf, man with man.
Okay.
So dwarf with dwarf. It's got to be Gloin for Gimli. I think that fits. He's still alive.
Fits the timeline. And Tariel, we didn't mention Tariel fits the timeline.
Yeah, she does, because she's an elf.
No one knows what happens to her.
Exactly, yeah. So Gloin, I think thematically fits the replacement of Gimli, being his father.
Mm-hmm.
That leaves... I could do the Wizard or Boromir. I'll do the Wizard last. So Boromir, this is where I don't think you've gone man for man, because I can't think of a sort of Hobbit era. I know it doesn't have to be Hobbit era, it just has to be alive.
It just has to be of questing
age.
In 2009.
So this is what makes me think. I thought he could have gone down the route of throwing me off and actually used Boromir, but Boromir would be quite young. He's a little bit older than Faramir, and Faramir's not born. So he's not of questing age.
He's very young.
He's very young, if he's alive at all. So I'm going to go with another dwarf, and I'm going to say Dwalin. Because
that's a good choice.
Yeah, because the reason I said that is because one is that I know Damian didn't do this for competitive reasons, but Dwalin fits the Boromir thing, quite powerful, strong character, not afraid of anything, just get stuck in.
I like Dwalin as well.
You like Dwalin as well, yeah. So I was thinking, but also being Balin's brother, we're inevitably going to lose Dwalin.
What happened to Balin?
Exactly. So that's what makes me think there's a bit of the storytelling aspect. It gives Balin something to be
a little upset because I've got a Dwalin statue. I haven't windowsealed it.
Oh, that's true.
So
that's foreshadowing.
Or saving my not showing my hand. One of the two.
And then that leaves the Wizard. Now, at first I thought Gandalf. I thought Gandalf straight away, because he fits, he's still around.
I don't have a specific desire to change every character.
No,
It's not like they all have to be different.
I did think Gandalf, but I also thought then, but along with the Hobbit theme, and if I'm going to go with my predictions, I'll keep it as a Hobbit wizard, so I'm going to choose Radagast. I think it's Radagast.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like that.
But at first I thought Gandalf still fits the theme, still alive. He loves taking Bilbo on quests.
He loves a quest.
He does love a quest.
He loves a quest, that boy.
Yeah.
That's
my prediction.
I mean, I might be saying this for everything because I like the Hobbit era, but I like Radagast.
Yeah.
I like the models.
Yeah.
I think these are cool.
Definitely.
Yeah. Cool. Imagine Radagast turning up at Helm's Deep on his rabbit sleigh.
Amazing. White rabbits.
That's Alice in Wonderland, White Rabbit. Oh, it's amazing. Right, it's going to change. Yeah. Okay, so cool. Yeah. So it is Bilbo, Balin, Gaffer, Farmer Maggot, Radagast, Bard, Tariel, and Dwalin.
Yeah, and Gloin.
And Gloin, of course. Gloin. I've got to 10 somehow. Cool. Good predictions.
Yeah.
Good predictions. I like them. I think they're sensible. Yeah. I don't think you've gone mad on them. They're all wrong, obviously.
But I did check the point. I did check the points values, and they're there or thereabouts. So that's what makes me. I'm quietly confident I've got at least half right.
Cool. Well, time shall tell.
Yeah, indeed.
A lot of time. There's Tom's predictions. See how you think he did, and as I say, write in the comments below on this video your own fellowship. And if you do write that, then we will. We'll as soon as you put a comment in with a fellowship on it, you get entered into the draw to win a fantastic prize of. I mean, I haven't counted them, but it must be. I think it's at least 100 tufts, maybe like a couple of 100 tufts, all in different colours and stuff, and then lots of bags of bagging material.
And they are
in
lovely.
fact, you know what I'll do? I don't know why I'm saying this. I will pan over it. I haven't actually got it here at the moment. It's upstairs, but it should be appearing on screen now.
Yeah.
You should see the kind of wonderful selection of different coloured tufts that he's put in, and these lovely little bags you could use as extra flocking materials and stuff. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So if you, as I said, please enter and to give yourself a chance of winning that, and also go and check out Andrew's stuff on the Lord of the Rings trade groups. You can easily find his posts, and they're really, really good and highly recommended.
Definitely.
So there we go. That's our that's the start of our fantasy fellowship. So about 4 weeks, we knocked this idea around that we would have a play with it, and we would get things started, and we instantly started so many messages over Messenger. We started talking about what scenarios we were going to do, and we looked at that kind of knocked down version, and we thought, nah. I was like, well, I want to do. I think you said I want to do 5.
100%. Before we even said it, before I even made a prediction or knew a character, I was like, we have to play Farmer Maggot's crop.
And just looking through it, there's so many iconic moments that are left out of the Fantasy Fellowship campaign that we're just like, we'll just do our own version.
Exactly.
And so we started planning the first few scenarios and realised we were going to need some scenery.
Yeah.
I've acquired a fair bit of scenery over the years, but if I'm brutally honest, it's not all that great. I made a lot of it 10 years ago, that sort of stuff, and I haven't really made a lot of terrain recently.
I've made none.
You've never ever
I never
made
a piece of terrain.
So we went, well, let's make it. And what you see on the table here, everything on the table has been made for the Fantasy Fellowship. And I would say not only that, but how long did your Hobbit hole take you? This is Tom's Hobbit hole.
Yeah.
How long is that?
All in all, I'd say hours, not necessarily days. Hours, maybe 7 or 8 hours.
7 or 8 hours. That's pretty good. And that was over about 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
So the stuff that I've done here is the river, the hedges, the kennel and the field, I think. And it was done. 7 or
8 hours is a bit because I'm counting drying time. So I'd say 2 days. 48 hours because drying time for filler and all that sort of stuff.
That's really just amazing.
Yeah.
For that time.
Yeah.
And everything I've done has been the last 8 days. It took 8 days from components to finish scenery. What? And so what we now have sitting before us is a table of brand new scenery made for the campaign. So we're not going to go into too much detail about this here because we actually have plans to do a different type of video, which I've kind of segued into, so we might as well talk about this.
Absolutely.
What we're going to do is, the way we're filming this, the only way we can do it sensibly is we're going to do blocks of filming, and so not try and get together for like once a week.
Yeah.
We're going to do a big full day of filming. We're also completely restrained by COVID-19 at the moment. I don't want to dwell too much on this because hopefully a lot of you will be watching this in the future where it's not an issue.
Yeah.
But at the moment, we're allowed to mingle, we're allowed to meet each other. But as of very soon, London's about to change. So we dropped everything to make sure that we got our first block of filming in before that happened. And our hope is now that we've got enough content to to get through until the restrictions change. We
Yeah.
can film the next lot essentially. But as of probably in about a week's time, we won't be able to do this. We won't be allowed to do this. But hopefully that will ease in a few months.
Yeah.
So we pulled out all the stops to make a big chunk, and we looked through it, and we picked out our first few scenarios. And we're not necessarily. I don't think. Do you want? I don't. Do we need to tell them all? You can have a look around here and have a punt.
Yeah. Yeah, you can
You probably work things
yeah,
out.
well, we mentioned the first one anyway.
Yeah, Farmer Maggot's crop is
Yeah.
where we're starting off, and so for that we made these fields.
Come out really nice.
I've kind of segued away from the point, but the point was that we were going to film these 3 scenarios, and then we're going to do another video
Yeah.
talking about the hobby that we did for
Yes,
those scenarios.
yeah.
So we talked for a while about whether each battle report would have a little hobby section at the end, almost like the battle games in Middle Earth magazine. You'd have a bit of a game, a bit of hobby. We end up settling for the idea that I think the videos are going to be quite long.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to watch like a scenario or just be a battle report, and then after a few of them, there'll be a little sit and talk like this,
Yeah.
where we talk about the hobby that we've done for that block of
Yeah,
things.
of scenarios.
So what we've done is we've made all the scenery we need for the first 3 scenarios, and that's what you can see here. We've got some other stuff as well that we'll be using, but everything here has specifically been built for this campaign,
Yeah.
which is seeing it all
I know,
in front of us
it's
is
incredible.
so exciting. It's so cool.
I feel bad because you definitely put a lot more effort in there.
It's not more effort; it's just more bits. I think.
bits,
But
yeah.
the Hobbit hole is the centerpiece.
It come out nice. I appreciate that, the kind words. Yeah, I'm very proud of it because it was the very first piece of terrain I've ever built.
It's amazing.
There are things I will do differently in the future, but it's a learning curve, and for a learning curve to come out as nice as it has, then I'll take that.
So I think super cool. Tom's made scenery for the first time. The campaign's already winning.
Exactly.
That's amazing stuff.
Exactly.
So your first bit of scenery
Got the
was
buzz
super
though.
awesome. Yeah.
We were discussing future scenarios,
And what? It's not a spoiler. What Hobbit hole is it?
it's a Farmer Maggots.
Farmer Maggot's house.
Farmer Maggots' house.
So yeah, as we've said, Farmer Maggots will be the first scenario. You can see his field full of cabbages. You can see his perfectly reasonably sized kennel for his 3 dogs.
It's a 3-dog kennel. Gotta be
It's
that.
got to be big. It's got to be big. And we also have some fields over here. And then let's just say that for scenarios that follow, we needed a river. So we built a brand new river. There's a ford in that, just over there. I'm just saying.
Ford shadowing.
Good. It's good. I like it. I like it. Socially distanced fun. And there's also a unspecified location jetty and ferry with unspecified creatures lurking on the side of it. And then we've got some hedges back here as well. So that was all built by us. So as of today, the flock on the river is still wet. This has been flocked today. This is how up to the wire we went. All the scenery I did has been over the last 8 days.
Yeah.
In this mad rush. Huge thank you to Emma for being quite considerate about the state of our living room. But yeah, the flock on here is still wet as we got it glued down, desperate to get everything recorded. And we did, and we're super excited, super excited by that. So yeah, this is amazing to be starting this kind of campaign with a whole new range of scenery.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's more of that to come, right?
Yeah, definitely.
We can talk about that in the appendix video actually, but I think we've made a fair bit of effort with this stuff, and we're planning on putting that much effort into the rest of it. So we'll be building new scenery throughout, and that's just got me so excited. Like Battle Streams of Middle Earth, the channel has, and the streams before that, has got completely rejuvenated my hobby love this year.
Me too.
And thanks.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And it's got me into painting stuff, and now it's done it for scenery, which is super cool. Like it's had me building scenery for the first time, which is just awesome. And I'm really, really excited to do more of that. But I must admit, I'm quite pleased this is done. Maybe have a few weeks off or something and that sort of stuff. She also mentioned this, which will turn up, this lovely little orchard. We've got a row of it going down there and a row of it here. You might not be able to tell, but it's made out as an orchard with kind of path and grass down the middle and rows of I presume orange trees. Was from Andrew Pennington, who very, very kindly sent us this for the campaign. So that will be featuring in our very first video. So you'll see more of that. So that's super cool as well. So it's very, very exciting. So there's the scenery aspect, which we're excited about, and then I guess finally there's the models.
Yeah.
Part of this, of course, part of the joy of this is painting up new models to use,
Exactly.
which is very, very much in the Battle Streams
Spirit.
manifesto.
Yeah,
spirit,
absolutely, yeah.
better word for it. So, dare I ask, is there anything you've got stuck into or are planning to get stuck into?
I mean, I've got stuck into very far ahead of time, so I don't know if I can mention.
You can if you want.
So I've
He's got a car.
I've purchased and built and primed and painted pretty quickly a Balrog. The Balrog, not a Balrog, the Balrog, Durin's Bane. And I'm pretty pleased with how it came out because it's quite a difficult model to paint. I'm a pretty good painter on a small scale. Big models intimidate me, so I thought I'd got in with a plan, and I did it, and it came out pretty much how I envisaged. So yeah,
I haven't done it.
I'm happy with him, definitely.
So just to confirm, this again has happened in the last 4 weeks, and we need the Balrog optimistically next September.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But Tom's already kind of got to get that paid.
There is one more model, but it does give an indication to what scenario we're definitely playing.
Oh, you can give them a teaser if you want. I don't know.
Well, if I say the character, and then they'll know the scenario.
Yeah, sure.
It's the wild chieftain.
Don't tell them that. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
From the it's Wargs in the Night now.
Indeed.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Look at that. There it is.
Oh.
Yeah, Wargs in the Night. Yeah. There you go. Huge world exclusive from
Yeah.
Tom Macklin. We will be playing Wargs at Night, of course. Of course we will. But that'll be super cool with the full fellowship. I wonder who will be in this picture. So yeah, that's super exciting. And then for me, I'm also looking forward to painting up new stuff and old stuff. And right in front of you here on the jetty is part of this. There are 3 ring wraiths they're metal ring wraiths that I've had for 10 years. I painted up 6, I think, to play Fellowship of the Ring journey book scenarios 10 years ago when I got back into the game. Never had any more reason to have 3 painted ring wraiths. Got them out, painted them up for this campaign.
And they look amazing.
Thanks, man. That's really easy. It's
Yeah.
a Kev Spector guy just dry brushing. But that was awesome to get them out and suddenly done, and 3 more models. And that's very much, again, like you're saying, the battle game spirit.
Yeah, clearing the backlog.
Yeah, part of the joy of this is going to be going through and finding those models and clearing the backlog and stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think I said on my Quest of the Ringbearer video that I've already got out my do you know what, the Quest of the Ringbearer review had those assembled. I just realised that they were cloned up. I just hadn't painted them, and I also had my metal Lothlorien elves, the bowmen, which again were bought for the Lothlorien scenario
of course,
10 years ago.
10 years ago.
And now I think we'll finally get their moment in the sun, which is just awesome. So there's that. So I think is that it?
Yeah.
Is that all the excitement?
I think so.
That's what we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
We hope this sounds good, because if it doesn't sound good to you, we're going to be
Doing it anyway.
Yeah, and wasting 4 years of our lives.
Not wasting.
Nah, it's not wasting. I honestly can't remember a time where I was more excited about the hobby.
I think my very first year in tournament scene comes close, but still, I'm still more excited now because this is what SBG was designed for.
Yeah.
Scenario play. So I'm incredibly excited.
Yeah. So our plea to you, that's kind of the last thing, is that we are going to extraordinary efforts with this. Or I hope this is just a sit and talk video, but hopefully there's been some cutaways and some pans that begin to show you. We're going all out to build new scenery, to paint new models, even the gear, even the filming gear. We've got loads and loads of cameras and lighting and stuff like that we're figuring out and learning as we go. And so they are going to take an awfully long time to film and an awfully long time to edit. And our plea is get involved.
Yeah.
The best thing you can do is if you like the sound of this, just write a comment. We'd love feedback as we go, and we've got enough time to keep making it better.
Yeah.
But please share this amongst your hobby groups, share it amongst your friends and little chats, whatever. Because the more content, the more involvement, engagement we get, the more it will kind of spur us on to do more. But we just want to hear from you and hope you guys enjoy this series. Is that everything?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's it for our prologue concerning hobbits.
Concerning fellowships.
Yes, well done. See, this is why concerning. I think concerning fantasy fellowships.
I think concerning fantasy fellowships.
Yeah, indeed. So that was the prologue, and of course, the next video we will be getting things properly underway with Old Maggot's Farm, as Bilbo, Balin, and Gaffer try and sneak past, stealing some cabbages, and that video will be hopefully coming out very soon. Until then, remember, comment below the predictions for the Fellowship, so that we've got an idea, and we'll have this wonderful competition courtesy of Andrew Pennington. Please comment on the video, let us know what you think, let us know what you're excited about, subscribe to the channel, like the video please, and if you feel like contributing literally to this campaign in any way, shape or form, please consider signing up to the Patron scheme, because all the details are in the link below, and if you do, you will literally be funding this campaign.
Absolutely.
Which will be, you will literally be keeping these lights on, which we'd obviously really appreciate. But if you don't fancy doing that, no pressure at all, and we will, the whole thing will be completely free. So yeah, I think that's it. Tom?
Yeah. I'm excited.
I'm excited. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to starting this adventure with you.
Definitely.
So we will see you next time for Chapter 1 of the Fantasy Fellowship of the Ring, Farmer Maggot's Crop. Take care.
Gandalf?
Bilbo Baggins.
My dear Gandalf.
It's good to see you. You haven't aged a day.
Well, come in, come in. Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyards left, 1296. Very good year, almost as old as I am. It was laid down by my father. What say we open one, eh?
No, Bilbo, I'm afraid I have come to talk to you about your ring.
My ring?
Your ring, Bilbo, is far more powerful than I ever dared to think at first. This is the One Ring, forged by the Dark Lord Sauron in the fires of Mount Doom. For 40 years the ring has lain quiet in your keeping, but no longer, Bilbo. Evil is stirring in Mordor. The ring has awoken. It's heard its master's call.
But he was destroyed. Sauron was destroyed.
No, Bilbo. The spirit of Sauron endured. His life force is bound to the ring, and the ring survived. Sauron has returned, and needs only this ring to cover the lands in a second darkness. He is seeking it. All his thought is bent on it. Bilbo, he must never find it.
But it cannot stay in the Shire.
No, it can't.
What must I do?
You must leave, and leave quickly.
Where? Where do I go?
Get out of the Shire. Make for the village of Bree.
But you're coming with me, aren't you?
Not this time, Bilbo. I have pressing business away south. I must speak to Ecthelion, the steward of Gondor. He has no idea what is coming, and I must aid him in the defense of the realms of men.
But I cannot do this alone.
Oh, I don't think you need go alone. In fact, I've brought an old friend to go with you.
Hello again, Bilbo.
Balin!
At your service. Well, you did say didn't bother knocking. Gandalf said you might need some company on the road.
There's no one I'd rather have with me. Except maybe you, Gandalf.
Well, I'm afraid it can't be helped. For now, at least. However, I have asked another old friend to wait for you in Bree at the Inn of the Prancing Pony and to guide you from there to Rivendell.
And the ring will be safe there?
I don't know. I don't have any answers. My dear Bilbo, hobbits really are amazing creatures. Can learn all there is to know about their ways in a month, yet after 100 years they can still surprise you. Confound you, Hamfast Gamgee! Have you been eavesdropping?
I ain't been dropping the weave, sir, honest. I was just cutting the grass under the window there, if you follow me.
A little late for trimming the verge, don't you think?
I heard Ree's voices.
What did you hear? Speak!
Oh, nothing important. That is, I heard a good deal about a ring and a Dark Lord and something about the end of the world. But please, Mr. Gandalf, sir, don't hurt me. Don't turn me into anything unnatural.
No, perhaps not. I've thought of a better use for you. You shall go away with Bilbo and Balin.
Me, sir? Me go and see elves and all? Oh, hooray!
Well, I suppose we'd be better getting on the road then.
But which road do we take?
There's only one road. It's like a great river. Its springs are at every doorstep and every path is its tributary. It's a dangerous business, Hamfast, going out of your door. You step onto the road, and if you don't keep your feet, there's no knowing where you might be swept off to. Do you realise that this is the very path that goes through Mirkwood, and that if you let it, it might take you to the Lonely Mountain, or even further, to worse places?
And worse places are exactly where a path may be taking us.
Perhaps. But either way, I think I'm quite ready for another adventure. The road goes ever on and on, down from the door where it began. Now far ahead the road has gone, and I must follow it if I can, pursuing it with weary feet until it joins some longer way, where many paths and errands meet, and whither then, I cannot say.